Still talking about oversight functions that you said earlier. Now let's quickly take a look at what's going on in Bakassi at the moment. Critics are saying that Akwa Ibom's claims to the 76 oil wells is not would not have been ratified if Bakassi were not ceded to Cameroon, and they're also saying that the ruling of the High Court on the matter has fueled the crisis at the moment. What do you have to say about that?
I'm sorry, can you come again? I'm sorry.
Now let me come again. Still talking about
Yes,
oversight functions and other challenges that are springing up, culminating in the security challenges that we have. Critics are saying that Akwa Ibom's claims to the 76 oil wells would not have been ratified if Bakassi were not ceded to Cameroon. And they're also indirectly saying that the ruling of the High Court on the matter has fueled the crisis in the region.
No, no, that's not correct. The Supreme Court had ruled that Cross River State is not a literal state because it does not have access to the sea, and that it is a landlocked state, and it is affirming the position it had taken in earlier judgment, which was awaiting the judgment of the International Court of Justice. And of course, you can only abut the sea if you have a direct access and boundary with the sea. And Akwa Ibom State, no oil well has been ceded to Akwa Ibom State because these oil wells had always been with and in Akwa Ibom State. But if the judgment of the International Court of Justice keeping Bakassi with Nigeria had allowed Bakassi for Nigeria and not ceded it to Cameroon, then that Bakassi is what would have given Cross River State access to the sea. But that I do not see what security crisis that is bringing now. It is only economic and well, a little tension between these two states. But I'm saying that in the next few weeks and months, and at the effort of the two governments and the two governors are making, there is peace, there is actually amity, and no insecurity has arisen in that area, although there were tensions, but all has calmed down, and there is absolute peace among them. But the issues of the economic issues between them are being sorted out in conference between the two governors and between the two governments, and between the peoples of the state. We at the National Assembly, we are having interactions with ourselves, and we are looking at the best way to solve the matters without creating any heightened tension. But the issue in Bakassi is not what is causing any tension in the country. What we're talking about is the insecurity that is leading to that leads to detonation of bombs, and so on and so on and so on.
Well, if you allow me come in here, still I would like to take a cue from the Bakassi matter. Let's talk about the spate of declaration of independence in some parts of the country, to the extent we now have anthems. You want to call them state anthems, or flags being hoisted by some states. A case in point here, Bayelsa, and of course the Ogonis, and even part of Bakassi. What's your take on all of this?
Well, thank you very much. I want to take first the issue of the hosting of flag or the state anthem or so on, and particularly the issue of Bayelsa State. I believe that what the governor of Bayelsa State, the governor of Bayelsa State was my colleague. We were together in the House of Representatives 2007 to 2011, and 2011 I moved to the Senate, and he moved to he came to the House again, and from there he was elected as governor of the state. And I know that the present governor of the Bayelsa State, His Excellency Serakia Dixon, was the Attorney General of Bayelsa State, and he was the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Justice. And I believe, I'm thinking that he may have a little loophole in the Constitution, what he considers a loophole in the Constitution, that enables him to do that. And I think that he may be thinking of practicing federalism to the highest of it. That is, extending the frontiers of federalism. That is what each of the federation states should do. At this stage, in my opinion, it may not be, not every action that is politically or constitutionally wise is wise to do at a certain time. There are times that you have to allow some of your constitutional rights to sleep because of the mood of the nation. But be that as it may, I think that what we should do in this case is to test his actions in court. Because if we don't test his actions in court, or if we test his actions in court, it will be found out, it will be, the Supreme Court will declare. I will urge the Attorney General of the Federation to take out a suit against the Attorney General of Bayelsa State, or the governor of Bayelsa State, for the purpose of just having a declaration whether the actions that are taken is allowed in a federal system of government. We see how federalism is practiced in Canada, in United States of America, and how in United Kingdom, how each of the some of the federating kingdoms, quote unquote, have their own currency, have their own have their own exercise their powers, so that the Supreme Court will be able to declare whether what they have done is right or wrong. We should take this step in the same manner that we had challenges in revenue allocation, and we took some of these actions before the Supreme Court, and they made declarations, these declarations that guided several actions. And it was this declaration that enabled the president to make President Obasanjo, the emeritus president of Nigeria, to make what he called executive orders on revenue allocation at that time. So when you take him to court, it doesn't mean that you have declared war. What you take is just a declaration. On the issue of declaration of independence, perhaps by the Ogonis, or what they call self-determination, these are all actions that, again, are fueled by certain actions by certain parts of the country. You see, like I said, it is the actions of leaders that fuel problems. Like one of our brother governors in the north had said, look, let us abrogate the onshore-offshore dichotomy. And in today's paper, I have read one of my colleagues saying that some parts of this country have cornered the wealth of the country. But nobody is talking about that some parts of this country, that what the South and the littoral states are talking about is only 13% of what you get. And the 18%, and the 13% they're talking about just give to us as derivation. But 87% let it go into the federation account and is shared among all the countries. But other parts of the country have the revenue, have solid minerals, and they do not contribute. This solid mineral does not contribute anything to the federation account. It is called illegal mining. It is taken in whole. 100% goes to the people who own the land, and even when they get the solid minerals from the ground, they get money from the ecological fund to go and repair, ecological fund which is funded by oil money, to go and repair the land which they have dug, excavated, taking solid minerals, taking all of it and using the whole, not even 1% goes to the federation account. That is why I suggested that the Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Office should either be scrapped, we made it by law, but all they are looking at is transparency in terms of oil and not transparency in terms of solid minerals. It is those kind of actions that are fueling the kind of thing that you're having now, people saying self-determination, self-determination. But as a patriot, as a legislator, and as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will caution that it is not time for any part of the country to go self-determination. You can talk of economic rights, you can talk of revenue sharing, you can talk of other matters that we practice federalism, but not to talk of self-determination. Bring your complaints upon the table. We are there in the National Assembly. We're in the process of constitutional amendment. We can find out how we can do all this without raising tension. It is still good and best for this country to remain together. And when we're talking of self-determination, let us accept that no part of the country will sit and watch another part wanting to succeed. Let us check the history of other countries where people have wanted to succeed, that it always leads to very unpleasant consequences.